ancestors, I beg you, forgive me. I have failed you. Our defenses have been broken. They are inside the walls. I did what I could. But it wasn't enough. All that you built, everything I cherished, will be annihilated. Despair takes a hold of me. It awakens. All is lost. It's too late. Run.
Hello everybody, Raven Knight here. Before we get started, guys, I just want to say a huge congratulations to For Honor for reaching 200 Warriors Dens episodes today. If the development team is watching, and I really hope you are, I want you guys to know just how amazing this all has been, not only as a content creator, but as a player of this game. Guys, today was indeed the 200th episode of Warriors Den. I absolutely enjoyed it. I had such a great time with it, and I'm so grateful to every single one of you who took the time to join me and watch it alongside me. I know you are spoiled for choice when it comes to who you watch the Warriors Den with, and there are so many better and more entertaining folks out there, but the fact you chose to watch with me means the world, so thank you, all of you. You are the best. Now, I know how it works though, guys. I mean, I get it. Not all of you can watch the Warriors Den. You were in class, you were at work, you were busy, you just didn't want to sit through a 2.5 hour stream, right? I get it. I understand. Well, that's why we're here, folks, to fill you in on the fundamentals and the basics. So join me as we summarize the upcoming season of For Honor Downfall. First of all, the big thing that we need to talk about, the thing that we need to start off with, the thing that I know everyone's wondering about, yes, cross progression is coming to For Honor effective September 11th with the arrival of the new season. We will be getting cross progression. Now, I had some people in the stream, in my chat, who did not understand what that meant and were curious about some of the problems they foresaw. So let me go ahead and clarify right now. Cross progression means that you will have one account for Honor that is shared between platforms. How does that work? Let's say that you originally played For Honor on a PlayStation 4. You played that for a couple of years, and you'd gotten to, say, Reputation 300. Let's say that you got to overall Reputation 300. But now you got a new PC, and you want to play on PC. Right now, currently, you would have to create a brand new account and start from scratch on that PC. However, with cross progression, you'll be able to merge those accounts. Everything will come together into one singular account that is shared between all platforms. But that leads to a few questions. Question number one, what happens to our reputation? Like, let's say that on the PlayStation, I was Reputation 300, but on the PC, I was Reputation 50. What happens to my reputations? Which one do I get? Because they're merging, it will merge your overall reps, so you will get 350 reps overall, and the characters who you repped will also get their reps merged up. So let's say that I was a Warden rep 50, but I was a Ward on the PS4, but a Warden rep 3 on PC. That 3 would be added to the 50, and thus I would be an overall rep 53 with that Warden. Does that make sense? Good. Your steel will also be merged. If I have 1,000 steel on PS4, but 200 on PC, I now have 1,200 steel in my overall account. All of your progress will carry over, including from the Battle Pass, and it's just going to be an overall situation where your accounts are merged into one. Does that make sense? Excellent. As long as that makes sense to you guys, it makes sense to me. And if there's any other questions you have, they encourage all of you to go take a look at the FAQ that we'll be dropping so that you guys can see what exactly it all entails. You need to make sure that your accounts are linked to Ubisoft, and you also need to make sure that you have crossplay turned on. All that stuff is going to be important, so basically go check out the FAQ and it'll explain everything. But yes, cross progression is officially coming. It is awesome. We've been asking for it for such a long time, and now it is finally here. Rejoice! For Honor's cooking. Alright, Speaking of cooking, let's talk about the lore and the game mode. Like I said, the name of the new season is called Downfall, and it's a samurai-themed season. The hero skin that we're getting is a Nobushi hero skin by the name of Lady Sayori. The new hero skin, Lady Sayori, is a Nobushi hero skin who bears a striking resemblance to Tomoe Gozen, the famous Onobagation from the Tale of Heiki. And now her lore is also quite similar. In the ancient days of the samurai, when they were just beginning to settle in Heathen, where the samurai were supposedly at peace, but while Sayori's husband was away on business for the emperor, a rival daimyo laid siege to Chiyo Castle, and Sayori was unable to stop it. In her desperation, something horrible within her was unleashed. What that horrible thing is, we do not know, but I have a pretty good guess. I think we can safely assume that she is, in fact, the Jorogumo from Year 5. Not only are there a lot of webs and spiders associated with her, and you have that cool spider pendant she's wearing, but her face and hair bear a striking resemblance to the mask outfit that came with that. I believe that Sayori is actually the Jorogumo, and what happens here is when her castle gets besieged and she is killed in the besiegement, she reawakens or reemerges as a Jorogumo, which means we will be getting our Halloween-themed season from Year 5 again with the Jorogumo event, the Webs of the Jorogumo. I am so excited about that. If you want to know what Jorogumo are, what the yokai are, I made a whole video talking about that. I will leave the link to that in the description. Go check it out. I think you will enjoy it because we talk about the history of the Jorogumo, the culture and lore behind them. It's really cool. The only downside to all of this, there's only one downside. There is one singular downside. Sometime next week or the week after that, in honor of Halloween, I was planning on releasing a new legend that I was creating for a Jorogumo Nobushi named Shiori. Yeah, not even kidding. I'd been putting together this build for quite a while. Many people who follow my streams and watch me play have noticed that I've played Nobushi a lot. In fact, I released a short not long ago where I was playing this Nobushi, and I will put the short up here so you can see it. Proof that I was creating this character. I didn't just make it up and steal it from Ubisoft. I had actually been planning this. But now I can't because Ubisoft made this, and now it's gonna look like I'm stealing from Ubisoft. Y'all let me know in the comments, should I still write this legend and release it anyway, despite all this, or do you think I should just rework the legend entirely? I hate for all my work to go to waste, but at the same time, I don't want to look like I'm plagiarizing, so y'all let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. Now, that leads us to the new game mode that's coming, Bitter End. This is a spin on Breach. The whole match takes place on the last phase of the Samurai Breach map. You play as attacker or defender. The attackers get 16 respawns, so that means that overall you can respawn 16 times in the fight. The defenders do not have to respawn, but the defenders have to protect Lady Sayori, who is basically the commander, and the attacker's job is to kill Lady Sayori. The defender's job is to wear out all the respawns of the attackers. Now, on the side lane, on the left side lane where the minions are, if the attackers take that side lane, they automatically get 4 more respawns. So, defenders, you don't want to just ignore that. Also on the right side, you have the healing zone. Let me tell you what you don't have. You do not have feats. No characters have feats, so all of you scared of the power of Sohei's feats, Warmonger's feats, Hitakiri's feats, all of you who are afraid of those feats coming in clutch and basically deciding the match for you, don't you worry, all feats are removed, so no feats can be used. Second, there is no ballista, so no attacker just sitting up there and pegging Lady Sayori from a distance. You've got to use your skill and battle acumen to win. And also keep a close eye on the map, because as you do damage to Lady Sayori or your respawns constantly deplete, over time the map will start to look more creepy, more red tinted, more covered in webs, more covered in spiders, more covered in creepy stuff, further adding to the idea that Lady Sayori is actually the Jorogumo that we've been waiting for. So, honestly, guys, it looks really cool. I can't wait to check it out. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I know you guys are probably looking forward to it. I know I'm looking forward to it. So that does tell us a great deal about what's coming, and that is it for the lore and game mode that we can expect. Let's move on to the battle pass and cosmetics. Overall, I think that the cosmetics for the weapons this time around are god tier, each one featuring like a god or entity of fire or the forge, and all of them kind of themed with burning or burned or charred remains or ashes. It looks really cool. All of them look absolutely goated. If I had to pick my favorites, I'd have to say that the Vikings probably look the best, although I think the Samurai come in a very close second. The Knights still look good, don't get me wrong, but I think that they could have gone like a burning angel or demon kind of thing. Instead, it looked like they drew from some weird maybe Hephaestus. I don't know. It just looked weird, but honestly, all of it looked really good. I thought that the cosmetics looked great. We're also getting some new mask outfits, which look glorious. We're getting some new executions, which look absolutely goated. All in all, it looks really, really good. The only thing I can say I didn't like was we had some armor reskins for the samurai, which looked okay. Like, I mean, they didn't look bad. They just looked okay. And I can't say anything more than that. It's just kind of like, okay. Looked fine. Like, I don't think it looked bad. I just think it's fine, you know? I would have liked some touch-ups or some new skins, but, I mean, for what we got, it's okay. And then, of course, we have the, callback Battle Pass. For those of you who missed it, it is the Tempest Battle Pass, which took place, I think it was in Year 4, Season 3, I believe. I believe that we had this. No, it was Year 5, Season 3, I believe. I'm having trouble remembering. Regardless of that, it was the Tempest event where we had this big flood that washed over everything. The Vikings basically held this kind of sacrifice where they tried to save all of Heathmore, and instead it brought about a tempest flood, all this water pouring everywhere. So you have a lot of water themed stuff, including mask outfits, executions, themes, stuff like that. So definitely get hold of that, especially for the weapon sets, because the weapon sets are coming back and they look really, really good. So if you didn't get the Tempest Battle Pass last time, get it this time. It is well worth getting. It's one of my favorites, actually, so definitely get hold of that. And that is all for the cosmetics and the Battle Pass. Really looking forward to that. Now let's talk about the rest of the Warriors Den. I'll briefly touch on this because it wasn't something that I think a lot of people care about, but I enjoyed it. We got to see a little bit of a background look at how the Warriors Den is structured, because remember, guys, this was the 200th episode of the Warriors Den live streams, so we got to see a little bit of how they do it in the background, basically how they operate. We learned that there's this one guy named Max who basically does a lot of the Warriors Den stuff by hand. It's kind of crazy, but he really did show us how awesome Warriors Den looks and how much effort he puts into it. It was really cool. And we also had a Warriors Den trivia with Larry himself, where we got to learn some pop quiz stuff about the Warriors Den and its history and all the stuff that we've seen in it. It was pretty cool. I did enjoy it, but I know that there are lots of people out there who don't really care for that kind of stuff, so I understand if you didn't want to see that or you skipped over it. So we'll just move on. The next thing we have to talk about is the testing grounds and the patch notes. Let's start with the testing grounds. The testing grounds are all feat changes, and this testing ground goes live October 2nd. I'm going to stress this now. Keep in mind, these changes are not going live October 2nd. They are a testing ground experiment change. So basically, you're going to try these out in testing grounds, and they're going to see how these work, okay? We're getting 4 characters with feat changes: Centurion, Peacekeeper, Shinobi, and Berserker. Now, I haven't memorized all the changes that they made, but I will say that I'm going to put them up on the screen so that you guys can see, all that's coming, and I'll leave them up for a few seconds each so that you guys can see. I really like Centurions, with the exception of maybe his 3rd feat, which I think may be a little too strong, since it throws your Pugio, but instead of it just doing damage and giving you a free heavy, if you kick them while in Pugio, it unbalances them and you can do a free Eagle Talon strike, which is kind of crazy. I think that may be a bit much, but overall I like Centurions. Peacekeeper is once again the Bleed Queen. I know a lot of people said, how can you call Peacekeeper Bleed Queen when no Bushi exists? With these feats, Peacekeeper will be the Bleed Queen, because some of her feats allow her to get access to her bleed feat much quicker just by hitting people with bleed. Just all of her feats are bleed. And so I can tell you this, Peacekeeper is going to be a menace if these goes live, and Wextra is going to be eating good. Shinobi got some changes to their feats. I don't remember all of them, but I do remember 2. The first one being that if you perform the 3rd strike of a Sickle Rain, it gives you an attack buff. But that also means that you don't get frame advantage for your next backstep kick. So you have to decide which one you want. I remember that. And then the other one is his new 4th feat. They've taken away the Shuriken throw thing from his 2nd feat, and for his 4th feat, they've given him an area of effect Shuriken throw, which not only hits enemies, but allies as well. So it's something he has to be more careful with. So I liked Shinobi's feat changes. Lastly, they brought back Berserker. I'm still a little on the fence about these. I think they did better than before, but I'm still a little on the fence, mostly because of the 2nd and 4th feat that Berserker has. The first one is Berserker throwing an axe, which is fine. I don't mind that too much. But the 2nd feat is every time Berserker is hit by an attack, he gets an attack buff. Berserker's already a tanky character. I don't think it's a good idea to give him a free attack buff just for hitting the dude, especially when he can trade damage very easily. I don't think that's a good idea. I just don't think that's fair to other people who have trouble countering Berserker. I don't think that's a good idea, but that's just me. His fourth feat is the one that a lot of people have issue with, and that fourth feat is this. For 10 seconds, he has superior armor and is literally unkillable. He cannot drop below 1 point of health. A lot of people are concerned about this because it means that he can just go to town on the commander on a breach map or the captain on a breach map and just not be taken down. Keep in mind two things. Number one, it is a fourth feat, which means he won't have access to it very quickly in the match. And two, 10 seconds isn't super long, if I'm being honest. It was 20 seconds before. 10 seconds feels a bit more reasonable. And I don't know. I'll have to try it out to see, but I think it's better, but I still take some umbrage with the idea that you can have a character who just gives themselves a feat where you cannot die. But then again, to be fair, we have Sohei's second feat, which makes sure they cannot die, but whatever the case. Anyway, those are my opinions on the testing grounds. Let me reiterate again, these are not going live immediately. These are just testing ground changes. And I urge you, when the testing grounds go live, please, 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 please let the development team know what you think. We can only pass ideas or falter ideas by our responses. Be fair, don't just say, oh, this is garbage, no like. Explain why you don't like it. Explain why it doesn't work. If you don't like some of the changes, iterate why. Let them know why, because they can't do anything with negativity. If all you say is, this bad, you no care, game dead, they can't use that to fix the problem. They need to know what the problem is. If you can't iterate what's wrong with it, they can't fix it. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Okay. Testing grounds. Moving on to patch notes. I will briefly summarize these as best I can. Aramusha got a nerf to his damage. Aramusha was overperforming, so they dropped the damage of his heavy attacks a little bit to make him a little less oppressive. This is a good change. Shugoki got a buff to his headbutt where it does 12 damage instead of 10 and now costs 15 stamina instead of 20. That doesn't sound like a lot, but because he cannot chain a whiffed headbutt, this seems like a fair trade. I like this change. Gladiator. They buffed the skewer so it's harder to react to, because Gladiator wasn't annoying enough already. But you know what? Cool, I'm fine with that. Shinobi, they made a buff to the Sickle Rain where it applies less revenge than it used to. I guess that makes sense, but I think the problem I have with this is in confirmed gank scenarios, that's going to really help Shinobi's team more than anything, but who knows? I'll need to try it out when I get to that point. And then finally, the one you have all claimed for. The one change that has been pined for since the dawn of time. From the moment that Larry first walked the halls of Heathmore, it has been foretold in the prophecies that from JC we would receive a conqueror roll catcher. And unto us a JC was born who gave to us the conqueror roll catcher. Do I sound like I'm over-dramatizing this a little bit? No, I'm not, because Jesus. It feels like everyone wanted this, and now we finally got it. Conqueror now has a roll catcher. He can chase down opponents who are running away from him and throw an unblockable heavy that lands and then allows them to free flow into their next combo. It's pretty cool, and now Conqueror, along with every character, has a roll catching move. So rejoice and praise JC on high. We have our roll catcher. Okay. So, with all that said, what are my thoughts and expectations about this season? First of all, I want to say, I didn't say this at the beginning because I wanted to save it for the end. The theme for this season is fire. This is some of the best music I've ever heard from this game. It's like they combined a Japanese vocalist, a Viking percussion band, and a gospel Christian night choir. It's gorgeous to listen to. I thought last season's music was good. This one's on fire. I mean, damn. Whew, I love it. I love it. I'm going to be playing this all over the place because I absolutely loved how it sounded. It sounded creepy, epic, badass, and everything in between. So I love the music. But leaving the music aside, this season looks very, very promising, guys. I love the hero skin. We'll be doing a lot of talks about that because I'll be going into the history of Tomoe Gozen and the Jorogumo again. I'll be talking about the legend, the lore of that, the lore of this hero skin and whether or not it's good or bad. We'll be doing a lot of talks on this new game mode and about Breach and about that. I'm thinking about doing a video where I talk about what Breaches look like for the different factions. We're also going to see a lot of really cool stuff in terms of patch notes and testing ground. I think that the bitter end game mode looks awesome. I think the battle pass and the cosmetics, for the most part, look really good. Overall, this Warrior's Den, the 200th Warrior's Den, was an absolute knockout win, and I think that there was so much to really enjoy and appreciate. I want to once again thank the development team for going to all the trouble of making these Warrior's Den so much fun. Of all the games that I've played that have lasted a long time, I have to say this one is the one that I would say is the most promising. It's truly ironic to me that games like Dead by Daylight and Rainbow Six Siege have been along just about as long as For Honor, if not a little bit longer. And those games, while fun for a while, never kept my attention, and right now, both Rainbow Six Siege and Dead by Daylight are looking pretty bad, if I'm being honest. Lots of changes that are not good, and yet For Honor, which had such a rough start that everyone just wrote off as dead years ago, is now going into its 9th year, stronger than ever, bringing back players in a big way. I absolutely loved it. I think it all comes down to something JC said in the stream. People always complain that they don't release changes and updates nearly fast enough. And what JC said really stuck out to me. We could push out things faster, but there's the risk of there being bugs and issues and oversights. We would rather be slower with our updates and changes and give you quality updates and changes than just push out what we think you'll like and give you a buggy, unhappy, unfun experience. And you know what? More power to them. It is wonderful to see a development group that cares more about the quality of the game than they do just content. So congratulations, Ubisoft. You've won my respect again, at least in For Honor more than anything else. I hope you guys enjoyed this summary video. What are you most looking forward to? Answer my question again down below about the Jorogumo legend that I was planning. Just let me know. Let me know. I want to know what you think. Anyway, that's all I got time for today. Stay tuned, guys. I'll be releasing an Executions Graded video pretty soon. But otherwise, guys, I will see you in my next video. Take care.